The night sky over Earth trembled. It wasn't the usual flicker of auroras or the familiar glow of distant stars. Something unnatural had arrived. From deep space, a shadow the size of continents slid silently across the solar system, blotting starlight in its path. Astronomers scrambled to track it, their instruments faltering under pulses of electromagnetic energy that surged without warning. Dr. Lena Ortiz stared at the glowing readouts in the control room of the Pan-Earth Observatory. Her fingers shook as numbers and symbols danced across screens, refusing to obey known laws of physics. It's moving with intent," she whispered. Her voice trembled, not from fear but from awe. "This isn't random. Someone, or something, is out there." Across the planet, satellites blinked and died one by one, their orbital paths disrupted by invisible forces. Cities plunged into sudden darkness as power grids flickered under strange interference. Panic spread faster than the shadows in the sky. People looked up at the heavens, hearts racing, as if the universe itself had exhaled a warning. Then, the first pulse hit. A low hum, vibrating through Earth's crust and the air, reverberating in every bone, every nerve. Windows rattled, vehicles stalled, and the oceans seemed to sway. It was not a sound humans could comprehend. It was a message encoded in energy, a communication humans couldn't decode. Military headquarters went on red alert. Ships were deployed to orbital stations, ready to intercept any threat. But even as fleets launched, the alien presence remained just beyond reach, observing silently. No weapons fired, no communication attempted. Yet the sheer scale of their craft, ships that eclipsed continents, made it clear that confrontation would be catastrophic. Dr. Ortiz's eyes caught movement on the display, a shadow shifting against the stars. Not a star, not a planet, not a known asteroid. Something alive, intelligent, patient. "They're studying us," she said, voice tight. "They're deciding whether we're worth noticing." In New York, London, Tokyo, and Sydney, millions watched the sky. People whispered prayers. Some ran to shelters. Others froze in awe. Social media erupted with theories, government cover-ups, secret alien missions, a cosmic apocalypse. But deep down, every human felt the same. Insignificant, small, fragile. Yet, in that fragility lay a spark. Across continents, across oceans, something subtle began to shift. Scientists, engineers, leaders, and ordinary citizens felt the same pulse. Not just the alien hum, but the rhythm of human resilience. Fear was real, but so was determination. Humanity had faced crises before, and though the scale was unimaginable, instinct whispered, "We do not cower." Hours passed. The shadow in the sky grew closer, its edges shimmering like liquid metal. The stars around it flickered and twisted, as if space itself feared its presence. And then a beam of light shot from the craft, silent, invisible, instantaneous, freezing all electronics on Earth. Satellites went dark. Communications ceased. Airplanes stalled. Cities shivered under the unnatural stillness. Humanity had been blinded. In the observatory, Lena Ortiz stared at the blank screens. She pressed buttons, tried alternative systems, but the alien energy field had overwhelmed every safeguard. She turned to her team. "This is just the beginning," she said. Her voice was steady now. "They're watching, they're waiting, and whatever comes next, we have to be ready." Outside, the sky pulsed once more. The shadow drifted closer, a silent judgment across the heavens. Humanity had never felt so small, so exposed, yet never so alive. For in the darkest hour, the human spirit awakened. Fear did not paralyze. It ignited courage. And somewhere deep within the hearts of billions, a single truth crystallized. The stars may tremble, but humanity would not break. Moral. In the face of the unknown, courage and unity become humanity's first weapons. The greatest threat can awaken the greatest strength. Cliffhanger. As Earth's lights flickered and satellites fell silent, the alien shadow loomed nearer. And then, the first pulse of incomprehensible energy struck the planet, an invisible signal that would change everything. Humanity was no longer alone.
The Earth held its breath. Silence had settled over the planet, not the peaceful kind, but the thick, suffocating quiet of fear. Satellites hung lifeless in orbit like ghosts. Power grids flickered in the darkness, and radio waves died mid-transmission. Humanity's first contact with the unknown had arrived, and it wasn't speaking, it was waiting. In orbit, Commander Arik Kwan stared at the blank screens aboard the Orbital Defense Station Sentinel. No blips, no signals. Only the shadow, the immense dark shape drifting just beyond the moon's orbit, loomed like a predator above a prey it had already circled. "It's not attacking yet," he muttered, voice tight. "But they're watching every move we make." Down below, cities whispered with panic. Streets emptied as emergency sirens wailed. People peered through cracked windows expecting fireballs or beams of death from the sky. None came, only the hum, low and insistent, vibrating through the bones of the planet. It was a presence, a weight pressing invisibly on every living thing. Scientists scrambled to understand. Dr. Lena Ortiz convened a global council via emergency quantum link, the screens flickering from the alien interference. "They're studying us," she said again, now certain. "We're a variable they haven't calculated yet. Every satellite we lost, every broadcast that failed, they've been observing, testing us, measuring us." Meanwhile, strange anomalies rippled across Earth's magnetic field. Compass needles spun violently. Migratory birds veered off course. Tides surged unexpectedly. Some called it an environmental anomaly, but Ortiz knew better. "It's them," she said. "They're changing. The planet subtly probing our defenses without showing themselves. A silent siege." From orbit, Arik watched as one of the alien scouts, a sleek, needle-shaped ship, slipped between the moon and Earth. Its surface shimmered with colors that should not exist, twisting like liquid crystal. For a moment, it hovered above New Delhi, scanning, silent, indifferent. Then it vanished as if it had never been there. Panic morphed into obsession. Governments tried to organize fleets, but every maneuver was anticipated. Test missiles fizzled mid-launch. Spy satellites reactivated briefly only to be crushed by invisible forces. Humanity's ingenuity, its raw technology, seemed laughably small against the quiet precision of this alien presence. Yet, as the world trembled, a different reaction stirred. Across continents, engineers and hackers began communicating in private networks, sharing solutions, creating improvised sensors, patching systems. If the aliens were testing humans, they would find something unexpected. Cooperation, adaptability, resilience. In the deserts of Nevada, a team of quantum physicists activated a rudimentary shield array. Sparks and arcs of energy shot into the night sky, reflecting off the clouds. The hum shifted, sharper this time, like curiosity or warning. For the first time, the alien scouts hesitated. They did not retreat, but they paused. Humanity had made a mark. Dr. Ortiz recorded her observations, her face pale under the glow of malfunctioning monitors. "They can destroy us in seconds, but they don't," she said softly. "It's not fear. It's calculation. They want to see if we adapt, if we survive on our own terms." In the shadows of orbit, the alien command was patient. Their ships glided in perfect formation, unseen, but omnipresent. Each probe, each ripple in Earth's magnetic field was a silent message. "We are here. We are infinite. We decide the terms." And then it happened. A flash of light in the upper atmosphere, not from Earth, not from space, but somewhere in between. A scout vessel, Curious collided with an artificial energy field humans had deployed in the Pacific. The explosion didn't destroy it, but it scattered fragments of alien tech across the ocean. Humanity had its first contact with tangible alien material, shimmering, translucent, impossible to classify. The world buzzed with simultaneous fear and fascination. News outlets scrambled to broadcast images of glowing fragments washing ashore. Scientists rushed to decode their secrets. The aliens, for their part, paused. The silent siege had been interrupted, if only briefly, by human ingenuity and unpredictability. Commander Arik exhaled, gripping the edge of his console. "They've noticed us," he said. "They know we're more than prey. But this is dangerous. They're learning too." In that moment, Earth's night sky pulsed again. Softly, deliberately. The shadow remained above, immense and still. Humanity was alive, but the rules of engagement had changed. They were no longer merely being observed. The game had begun. Morale. Observation can be as threatening as aggression. Understanding the unknown and responding with intelligence and courage is humanity's first true weapon. Cliffhanger. As fragments of alien technology glimmered on Earth, the sky itself seemed to bend. A massive, dark shape approached silently, larger than anything before, and undeniably real. Humanity had caught the aliens' attention, but were they ready for what would come next? The night was electric. Humanity's nerves were taut, stretched over the globe like fragile wires. Every human heartbeat seemed to echo the same question. When will they strike? From orbit, Commander Arik Kwan's eyes traced the alien shadow. As it drifted closer, now unmistakable, a massive, glimmering fortress of dark crystal, larger than continents, its edges cutting the void like a knife. Around it, hundreds of smaller vessels spun in precise formation, satellites of a presence that did not breathe but watched with intent. And then it happened. The first strike. Not a beam of light, not a wave of destruction. Something subtler, more terrifying. The hum that had pulsed through Earth since their arrival intensified into a piercing vibration that shook entire cities. It resonated deep within the planet's core, destabilizing tectonic plates. Buildings shuddered. Bridges groaned. Volcanoes in remote regions erupted with fury. Humanity's world had become a living instrument, each note tuned by the alien force. Dr. Lena Ortiz's eyes widened as seismographs across the globe went haywire. "They're not attacking to kill," she shouted over the chaos. "They're attacking to test, to measure. They're probing every system, every response, every weakness." In New York, Tokyo, Paris, and Cape Town, people felt it the same way. A primal tremor that made the spine stiffen and the heart race. Panic surged, but so did determination. Firefighters, police, medics, and engineers all raced to stabilize what could be stabilized. Humanity was raw, small, and fragile, but unwilling to yield. Commander Arik's fleet scrambled. Earth's first orbital defense weapons engaged the alien scouts, firing bursts of plasma and kinetic missiles. For the first time, human weapons made contact, sending sparks of alien energy scattering across the void. The scouts recoiled, not in fear, but in calculation. A countermeasure pulsed outward, an invisible wave that disabled every fired missile and fried electronics within a 500-kilometer radius. Humanity had struck, and the aliens had responded with overwhelming precision. Down on Earth, Dr. Ortiz's team made a breakthrough. The fragments of alien material that had washed ashore after the Pacific explosion resonated with human-made energy. When exposed to certain frequencies, they glowed, forming faint symbols, complex geometric patterns that seemed to hum in response to human thought. "It's a key," she whispered. "They're leaving us a way to communicate, or to fight back." Amid the chaos, humanity's ingenuity sparkled. Underground labs and hidden workshops buzzed with feverish activity. Civilians and scientists alike improvised sensors, energy shields, and detection grids. Ordinary people, armed with knowledge and courage, became the first line of defense. Yet for all the resistance, the alien fortress loomed larger every hour. Cities burned, oceans roiled, and the sky itself shimmered with the unnatural energy. Radiating from their presence, and in the void above, the shadow moved with purpose, not randomly but in precise arcs and sweeps, as if mapping every response, every action humanity took. For the first time, a direct message arrived, not through sound, light, or movement, but through thought. Across the globe, people experienced a shared vision, a colossal humanoid form, faceless, shimmering with starlight, standing above Earth. Its hand rose slowly, a silent warning. The message was clear. We see you. We understand. We decide. Humanity gasped, united in fear and awe. The alien presence was no longer just a distant threat. It was a force aware of them, intelligent and curious. Commander Arik clenched his fists. They want to test our courage, he said. They want to see if we bend or break. Well, we don't bend. And across Earth, ordinary humans did something extraordinary. A pilot and a small fighter near the Indian Ocean risked everything to send the first direct broadcast signal to the alien scouts, an improvised message. Humanity's defiance, ingenuity, and unwillingness to surrender. For the first time, the alien fortress paused. The hum softened. The waves subsided. The volcanoes stopped erupting. Space seemed to hold its breath, as if the universe itself had noticed humanity's first spark of resistance. Moral. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is action in the face of it. Humanity's defiance, intelligence, and unity are the weapons no invader can fully predict. Cliffhanger. The alien fortress pulsed with light, a signal so intense that it could be seen from every corner of Earth. Was it acknowledgement, or the beginning of a devastating retaliation? Humanity had taken its first stand, but the true battle was just beginning. The alien pulse had stopped, only for a moment. A fragile pause that made humanity believe it had been noticed, perhaps even respected. But Commander Arik Kwan knew better. In the void above, nothing this massive and calculated ever paused without reason. The silence was a warning. Across Earth, cities were eerily quiet. The earlier chaos had given way to a tense vigilance. Fires still burned from initial tremors, and broken electronics flickered sporadically. Citizens peeked from rubble and shuttered windows, hearts pounding with a mix of fear and fascination. Then it began. The alien fortress descended. Not a slow landing, but a deliberate approach, suspended in orbit above the Pacific Ocean. Energy. Ripples cascaded downwards, causing the seas to rise and fall like liquid mountains. Tsunamis raced across coastlines, washing away roads, ports, and structures. Humanity's strongest coastal cities were powerless to resist. Arik barked orders aboard the Sentinel. Evade the pulses, shield the stations, prepare for countermeasures. His voice was steady, but his hands shook. Every human ship, every satellite, every weapon was minuscule against the alien leviathan looming above. Dr. Lena Ortiz worked feverishly alongside her team. They had decoded part of the alien fragment's resonance patterns, discovering that certain sequences could disrupt the Scouts' guidance systems. It's not a weapon, she explained. At least not yet. It's a tool. If we can use it, we might be able to protect cities, slow them down, buy time. Time. Humanity's most precious commodity. Across the globe, ordinary people became extraordinary. Civilians formed evacuation brigades, engineers improvised energy shields from old infrastructure, and scientists coordinated networks to amplify their signals. Humanity was fighting not just with weapons, but with ingenuity and courage, a demonstration the aliens could not ignore. And then the first direct strike. A scout vessel swept across the Amazon basin. Its surface shimmered like liquid night as it emitted a beam of pure energy. Trees ignited, rivers boiled, and the very soil convulsed. Yet humans did not run blindly. Firefighters used improvised barriers and chemical dispersals to slow the spread. Wildlife rangers evacuated animals. Scientists transmitted counter-resonance signals using the alien fragments. The damage was catastrophic, but not total. Humanity had survived the first direct assault. Commander Arik's fleet engaged the scouts directly. Fighters swarmed, missiles streaked through the upper atmosphere, plasma pulses flared, but the alien ships responded with speed and precision far beyond anything human technology could anticipate. Still, the humans adapted. Ships learned the scouts' patterns, maneuvered with daring improvisation, and inflicted minor but telling disruptions. The battle was unequal, yet it showcased humanity's resilience. They were unpredictable, clever, and unyielding. From orbit, Lena Ortiz observed the alien fortress's reaction. Pulses of light rippled along its surface in a sequence she had never seen. It was not aggression, nor was it retreat. It was thought. The aliens were communicating, calculating humanity's potential. Every victory, every adaptation, every spark of ingenuity was being logged, measured, and assessed. The moral clarity struck her suddenly. Earth was not just a battleground. It was a test. Humanity's defiance, courage, and unity had earned recognition. But failure would be annihilation, and the stakes escalated further. From the heart of the fortress, a beam of energy unlike any before struck near the Antarctic research stations. It did not destroy, but it reshaped the ice, raising jagged spires and crevasses hundreds of feet high. A silent message from the invaders. We can erase you, but we are patient. Show us your worth. In New York, Tokyo, and Rio, humans stared at the night sky, realizing the truth. Earth was no longer just home, it was a proving ground. Commander Arik clenched his fists. Humanity had survived, had adapted, had struck back in small but meaningful ways. But the aliens had made one thing perfectly clear. This was only the beginning. Moral. True courage shines brightest in the shadow of overwhelming odds. Humanity's strength lies not only in weapons or technology, but in ingenuity, unity, and an unbreakable spirit. Cliffhanger. As Earth reeled from the latest pulse, the alien fortress hung ominously above the Pacific, its energy rippling outward, in waves that seemed almost alive. Humanity had survived the first strike. But the real battle, the one that would decide the fate of the planet, was about to begin. The world was no longer merely surviving. It was preparing to fight. Humanity's pulse thrummed in every city, every battlefield, every hidden lab. Commander Arik Kwan's fleet hovered in orbit, battered but unbroken, staring at the alien fortress like predators sizing up prey. We've studied their patterns, Arik said, voice tight but resolute. They're calculating, probing, but they're not omniscient. We have a chance, one strike, precise, coordinated, and relentless. We either show them we're worth the fight or we disappear. Below, Dr. Lena Ortiz's team completed their most daring experiment yet. The counter-resonance network. Arrays of alien fragments linked through human technology, amplifying their energy patterns in a sequence designed to disrupt the alien scouts' coordination. It's unstable, Lena warned. One misstep and it could backfire, but it's the only chance we have. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across shattered cities. Fires glowed like veins of molten metal, illuminating faces lined with fear and determination. Humanity had learned one thing in the first assaults. The aliens were calculating, but they were not infallible. The first wave struck. Human fighters launched from scattered bases, weaving through the alien scout formations with uncanny precision. Missiles and plasma arcs lit up the night sky, dodged and countered with terrifying speed by the scouts. Yet Lena's network pulsed silently from hidden labs. Its resonance struck the scout systems, causing minor disruptions. Ships faltered, beams misfired, and alien shields flickered. Humanity had carved its first crack in the alien armor. Arik led the main assault personally. His flagship cut through space like a blade, flanked by the most skilled pilots from around the globe. They exploited every weakness, Lena's network. Exposed. Alien ships misaligned, their formations broke, and a cascade of minor explosions lit the void. Below, civilians became unsung heroes. Engineers rigged city grids to amplify Lena's signal. Farmers transported energy crystals to improvised launch stations, and even children watched the night sky with hope, knowing their world's fate depended on every human contribution. And then the fortress responded. A massive pulse radiated outward, visible as a rippling aurora of dark energy across the globe. Cities were engulfed in shimmering waves, and humans everywhere felt it in their bones. Buildings swayed, bridges groaned, and seas rose in response. But humanity's network held. Barely. The pulses staggered, fragmented, showing that even the aliens were not invincible. Arik's voice cut through the chaos. Push forward. Every second we hold, every disruption we force, and it's a victory. The climax of the first counterstrike came unexpectedly. One of Arik's wingmen, a young pilot named Sarah Takahashi, maneuvered her fighter into a daring position above the fortress's main energy conduit. With a precise shot, amplified by Lena's resonance signal, she struck the alien vessel. The response was immediate and violent. The conduit flared, sending a pulse of energy into space, knocking out dozens of scouts. Humanity had scored its first major victory, proof that courage, ingenuity, and unity could bend even the seemingly unstoppable. Yet the victory was bittersweet. The fortress pulsed again, more intensely than before, its shadow looming over Earth like a living, calculating predator. It was no longer a distant threat, it was a looming judgment. Humanity had shown its resilience, but the aliens had already adapted, learning from every move, every strike, every human improvisation. Dr. Ortiz's eyes reflected the glow of monitors. "They're learning faster than we are," she murmured. "But that's the point. They underestimated us. Every time we survive, every time we fight back, we're teaching them that humanity is not to be controlled or dismissed." Moral: bravery is amplified by ingenuity. Survival alone is not enough. Humanity thrives because it dares to fight against impossible odds, using mind and spirit in equal measure. Cliffhanger: as the fortress pulsed, signaling the beginning of a new phase, Commander Arik stared into the void. "This is far from over," he said. "They've seen our spark. Now they'll decide if it's enough, or if we will burn." Earth trembled as if the planet itself had become a battlefield. The alien fortress above the Pacific, now fully revealed, pulsed with energy that rippled through the atmosphere like a heartbeat of doom. Humanity's victories so far had been small, fleeting sparks against an endless darkness. But the invaders were learning. Faster, smarter, more relentless. Commander Arik Kwan stood on the bridge of the Sentinel, his eyes locked on the fortress. "They've adapted," he said, voice low but steady. "Every move we make, every strike, they counter. They're no longer probing. They're preparing to obliterate. In cities worldwide, humans scrambled to survive. Entire coastlines were evacuated. Rivers redirected and skyscrapers reinforced with emergency barriers. Yet even the best-laid defenses seemed fragile under the alien pulse that twisted Earth's crust, sending massive earthquakes through previously stable regions. Mountains shivered. Cities tilted. Humanity was being tested on every front. Dr. Lena Ortiz worked feverishly with her team, linking alien fragments into a global resonance network. "We've stabilized the counter frequency for only a few hours," she warned. "After that, it could fail. Or worse, provoke them." And provoke them it did. Without warning, a new type of scout emerged from the fortress. Titanic, insect-like vessels covered in crystalline armor that refracted light into deadly beams. Unlike previous scouts, they were autonomous, capable of precision strikes on cities, satellites, and human fleets simultaneously. Humanity's defenses faltered as the creatures attacked with terrifying coordination. From orbit, Arik ordered a counteroffensive. Fighters darted through the void. Missiles streaked toward the new scouts, and Lena's network pulsed to destabilize their guidance systems. Explosions lit the darkness of space, but each victory felt temporary. The fortress itself remained, untouched, looming and omnipotent, as if daring humanity to strike again. On the ground, civilians became soldiers. Engineers repurposed nuclear power grids to amplify Lena's signals. Farmers rigged defensive drones from agricultural machinery, and ordinary people took to rooftops to coordinate communications. Humanity was no longer divided into military and civilian. It was united by desperation, creativity, and resolve. The first decisive blow came unexpectedly. A small squadron of human pilots led by Sarah Takahashi maneuvered through the alien fleet to deliver an improvised EMP pulse amplified by Lena's resonance network. The effect was immediate and devastating. Dozens of alien scouts froze mid-flight, their energy beams sputtering, some crashing into the ocean below. Humanity had forced the aliens into a pause, but the fortress did not retreat. Its surface shimmered, with energy sending arcs of blinding light into orbit. One pulse struck the Sentinel directly, rocking the ship violently. Alarms screamed. Crew members were thrown to the floor. Humanity had won a tactical victory, yes, but the fortress reminded them who still held ultimate power. Arik clenched, his fists. "They want to see us burn," he said, voice trembling with controlled fury. "But we won't. Not now. Not ever." Dr. Ortiz, her hands trembling over the control panels, looked at Arik. "We've learned something," she said, quietly. "The fortress responds to disruption in patterns of thought, to human creativity, to unpredictability. It's almost as if it respects intelligence, or fears it." Above, the alien fortress pulsed again, brighter than ever. Humanity understood. One terrifying truth: this was not just a war, it was a test, a crucible. And failure meant total annihilation. Moral: true strength is forged under fire. Humanity's ingenuity, unity, and courage are not abstract virtues. They are survival tools, capable of bending even the most relentless adversaries. Cliffhanger. As the alien fortress radiated a pulse that made every electronic device on Earth flicker, Commander Arik stared into the void and muttered, "This is the moment they either break us, or learn what humans are made of." The ground shuddered. The seas roiled. And from the fortress, a shadow moved, signaling a devastating escalation. One that could decide the fate of every living thing on the planet. The night sky burned with alien fire. Cities crumbled, oceans boiled, and the air shimmered with unseen energy waves. Humanity had survived strikes that should have ended civilizations, but the fortress above the Pacific remained an unyielding titan, its energy pulsing like the heartbeat of doom itself. Commander Arik Kwan stood on the bridge of the Sentinel, fists gripping the rail, his eyes locked on the alien structure. "We've learned their patterns, their calculations," he said. "Now we fight not with strength alone, but with cunning. Every move counts. One mistake, and Earth is gone." Dr. Lena Ortiz had been working around the clock. Her team had refined the resonance network into a new configuration, one designed not just to disrupt, but to infiltrate the alien intelligence. If we can transmit a pattern complex enough, it could confuse the fortress itself, she explained. We might buy ourselves the opening we need to strike at its core. The plan was audacious, too audacious. Human fleets would lure the alien scouts into a labyrinth of false signals, decoy cities, and improvised traps. Lena's network would simultaneously inject the fortress with the new pattern, forcing it to analyze, adapt, and hesitate. And while it hesitated, a small strike team, led by Sarah Takahashi, would penetrate the orbiting fortress to deliver humanity's decisive blow. The world below braced. Citizens, armed with whatever they could muster, evacuated remaining danger zones while reinforcing defenses for the expected retaliatory strike. Engineers coordinated citywide networks to amplify the resonance pulse. Humanity had never been more united or more desperate. The assault began. Human fleets darted through space like swarms of lightning. Missiles blazed trails against alien scouts while plasma pulses and EMP blasts tore through crystalline armor. Yet the fortress adapted quickly, sending waves of new, more advanced scouts to counter the human advance. Explosions flared like miniature supernovas, lighting the darkness with deadly beauty. Then Lena activated the network. A pulse unlike any before rippled across space and Earth simultaneously. The alien scouts faltered, their movements jerky, uncoordinated. Even the fortress pulsed erratically, its energy radiating in uneven waves. Humanity had forced hesitation, a brief window where the impossible seemed possible. Sarah Takahashi's squadron leaped through the breach. The alien defenses were formidable, crystalline. Turrets tracked every movement. Energy barriers shimmered with lethal intent, and traps that could disintegrate metal waited at every corner. But the humans adapted. Every pilot, engineer, and strategist used ingenuity over brute force, exploiting patterns and weaknesses the aliens had overlooked. Inside the fortress, Sarah deployed Lena's final resonance spike. Energy cascaded through alien conduits, pulses, disrupting the core's processing nodes. The fortress shuddered, sending ripples of light across the sky that humans below could feel in their bones. It was alive, aware, and now, uncertain. Commander Eric watched from orbit as the alien Titan faltered for the first time. "Now!" he shouted, rallying the fleet. Missiles, plasma bursts, and tactical strikes focused on weak points revealed by Lena's network. Explosions tore across the fortress surface, sending shards of alien alloy tumbling into the void. Humanity's first coordinated offensive of cunning and courage was paying off. But the fortress was not defeated. It retaliated with a pulse that slammed through Earth's magnetic field, knocking out communications and causing violent storms across continents. Humanity reeled, battered and bleeding, yet the spirit remained unbroken. Even in the face of near-total annihilation, humans adapted, countered, and endured. From the bridge of the Sentinel, Arik's gaze was unflinching. "They've learned our courage, our ingenuity, our refusal to submit. This is why they fear us." Lena's voice crackled through the comms. "It's working. We've forced them to hesitate." Morale. Humanity's greatest strength is unpredictability, ingenuity, and unity. Even against forces beyond imagination, intelligence and courage can carve a path to survival. Cliffhanger. As the fortress trembled from within, the alien core pulsed violently, a reaction far stronger than any pulse humans had encountered. The structure groaned like a living being on the brink of collapse. Commander Arik clenched his jaw. "This is it," he muttered. "One final strike. One chance to remind the galaxy why Earth will never fall quietly." The night sky was ablaze with the fury of war. Alien fire streaked across orbit, lighting up Earth like a dying sun. The fortress above the Pacific trembled, its once impervious crystalline armor cracking under the strain of humanity's audacious assault. Humanity had fought against impossible odds, endured devastation, and now stood on the cusp of a final decisive strike. Commander Arik Kwan's hands gripped the controls of the Sentinel with white-knuckled determination. Around him, the fleet executed the plan with near-perfect precision. Decoys, tactical diversions, resonance pulses, and synchronized strikes. Every movement had been honed through months of survival, improvisation, and relentless courage. "Ready, the strike team," Arik commanded. "Sarah, Lena, this is the moment everything we've done leads to. One chance to make it count." Sarah Takahashi's squadron raced toward the fortress core, weaving through a storm of alien energy and collapsing structures. Their fighters, battered but unbroken, moved with a human rhythm the aliens could not anticipate. Lena's resonance network pulsed like a heartbeat, infiltrating the alien systems and creating just enough confusion for the strike team to penetrate the inner sanctum. The fortress trembled as Sarah's squadron breached the main conduit. Inside, the alien architecture was alive with pulsating energy, walls shifting unpredictably, corridors reconfiguring, and lights flickering in response to every intrusion. But humanity's ingenuity proved unstoppable. Sarah's team adapted with split-second precision, bypassing defenses, rerouting energy flows, and delivering targeted pulses that destabilized the alien core. Back on Earth, civilians watched the night sky in fearful awe. Cities were scarred, oceans roiled, and mountains quaked, but hope burned brighter than the alien fire. Humanity's ingenuity and courage had given them a fighting chance, and now the world waited, united, for the outcome. Inside the fortress, Lena's resonance spike reached the core. Energy cascaded outward, sending shockwaves across the alien structure. The fortress groaned, a sound felt deep in the bones of every human below, as if the planet itself recognized the turning tide. Alien scouts faltered, crystalline armor splintering, beams misfiring. Humanity had forced the impossible, fractured the seemingly indomitable. Commander Arik watched through the viewport as the core cracked, revealing the alien intelligence. At its center, a swirling semi-transparent mass of energy, calculating and aware, now vulnerable. "All units, final strike," he shouted. Missiles streaked toward the core, plasma bursts erupted in synchronized fury, and Lena's network amplified the assault with unmatched precision. The alien intelligence roared in defiance, sending a pulse that rocked the fleet, yet it was too late. Human ingenuity, courage, and unity had aligned perfectly. The core shattered, sending a blinding wave of energy across the sky that humans could feel in their very hearts. The fortress disintegrated in a cascade of brilliant light and debris. Alien ships, stripped of their command and coordination, fell like shooting stars into the oceans and deserts below. Humanity had not only survived, they had triumphed against a force that had once seemed unstoppable. Commander Arik exhaled deeply, eyes reflecting the glow of victory and devastation alike. "We did it," he murmured. "Not because we were stronger, but because we refused to be anything less than human." On Earth, people poured into the streets, weeping, cheering, and embracing. The world was scarred, yes, but it was alive. Humanity had proven that courage, unity, and ingenuity could bend even the most terrifying adversaries. The stars above, once trembling with alien menace, now shone in quiet awe of a species that refused to surrender. Dr. Lena Ortiz smiled, exhausted but triumphant. "They underestimated us," she said. "Every plan, every calculation, they couldn't account for the human spirit." Moral: the human spirit, unyielding, inventive, and courageous, can defy even the most overwhelming forces. Strength lies not in technology alone, but in ingenuity, unity, and the refusal to surrender to fear. Humanity does not merely survive. Humanity endures, adapts, and triumphs. Final image. As dawn broke across a battered yet unbroken Earth, Commander Arik, Sarah, and Lena stood on a cliff overlooking the Pacific. The remnants of the alien fortress lay scattered in the water, glowing faintly before fading. Arik's gaze met the horizon. "They'll remember this day," he said quietly. "And so will we. This is what it means to be human." The stars, above, once trembling, now watched silently, witnesses to a species that had reminded the galaxy why Earth was never to be underestimated.